Page number 113 from your beehive. We are starting the. Okay. Okay, let us start. So, Bond of Love is a story about, as you can see from the picture, it is the story about a bear. Okay. Sloth bear. So, sloth bear means, like, as you can see the structure, the black color bear that you can normally see in the zoo. So, that is called a sloth bear. So, the question is that sloth bear wild animals. So, is it possible to um, make a wild animal a kind of pet, like completely like a pet? Is it possible? For some people, they have the opinion that that is not possible. But in this story, after reading the story, we will get this example that in the narrator's life, it was possible. A sloth bear, when it was taken care from the very childhood, even when it got matured, then also it remained a pet sloth bear. That is the bond of love. Means everything is out of love. So he is starting. I will begin with Bruno, my wife's pet sloth bear. I got him for her by accident. So the story is about their sloth bear, especially his wife's pet sloth bear, because the sloth bear was more attached to the wife, and to her he has brought this beer. It was not like he bought it or something. He actually got the beer in a kind of accidentally. He got the beer and he gifted it to the wife. So what happened? 2 years ago, passing through the sugarcane fields near Mysore, people were driving away wild pigs from the field by shooting at them. Some were shot and some escaped. We thought that everything was over when suddenly a black sloth bear came out panting in the hot sun. Now, I will not shoot a sloth bear wantonly, but unfortunately for the poor beast, one of my companions did not feel that way about it and promptly shot bear on the spot. So it happened. He is telling that it happened 2 years before, and they were in the sugarcane fields of Mysore. So there, the local people, as well as the narrator and the narrator's companion, they were actually doing one work. That is, they were shooting the wild pigs, because the wild pigs were attacking the sugarcane field and it was spoiling the crop. So, in order to save the crop, they were actually driving away the wild pigs. So, while they were shooting at the wild pigs so that they get terrified and they will leave the field, in that moment, from nowhere, one sloth bear, like a big sloth bear, came in the middle of the field and it was panting. Panting means breathing heavily. And the narrator was not at all in the intention or wish to shoot the sloth bear without any proper reason. Means he was not about to shoot the bear, but one of his companion, maybe he thought that I need to shoot the bear because his opinion was different. So he pointed his gun and made the shot. As we watched the fallen animal, we were surprised to see that the black fur on its back moved and left the prostrate body. Then we saw it was a baby bear that had been riding on its mother back. When the sudden shot had killed her, the little creature ran around in his prostrate parents, making a pitiful noise. So the bear got shot. Okay, it died, and when it fell over the ground, okay, they from a distance they were watching that a portion of its black fur was like moving, and it was like falling out of the body. So it was not the cluster of black fur, but it was another animal. It was a baby sloth bear, the baby of that big sloth bear. So it was actually hanging to its mother's back. So when the mother died, like that sloth bear came out from that position, and it started running after the dead mother making a kind of pitiful noise, because after all it is a baby, and suddenly the baby is feeling very lonely, that he has no idea what exactly happened, so he was making that pitiful noise. I ran up to it to attempt a capture. It's It scooted into the sugarcane field, following it with my companions. I was at last able to grab it by the scruff of its neck, while it snapped and tried to scratch me with its long hooked claws. So the narrator, instead of thinking further, he wanted to get that baby sloth bear. Okay, so he wanted to catch it. So the baby sloth bear was running away here and there because it was terrified. Obvious thing, it will be terrified, so it was running. So the narrator took the help from other companions. Okay, and by their help, finally they were able to get the sloth bear, means the baby. And while he captured the baby sloth bear, in a kind of defensive way, it tried to make some scratches over the narrator. We put it in one of the gunny bags we had bought, and when I got back to Bangalore, I duly presented it to my wife. So gunny bag means a kind of sack. Okay, so he put the bear in the bag, and then they got back to Bangalore, and when he met his wife, he presented the bear as a gift to his wife. She was delighted. At once put a She at once put a colored ribbon around its neck, and after discovering the cub was a boy, she christened it Bruno. So the wife was very excited, very happy to get that sloth bear, the baby sloth bear. She was very happy, and immediately she took a ribbon from somewhere, like colorful ribbon, and put it around the neck, just like a decoration, like an ornament. Okay, and after discovering, when she found out that it is a boy sloth bear, okay, boy baby, so he immediately, in a kind of as according to their custom of Christianization, means they have a certain custom that when putting the official name to someone, okay, they will do a kind of ritual. Okay, so here the narrator jokingly, it's like a humorously, is trying to tell that my wife found out that he is a boy, and she went through that as if like that Christianization process, and named him Bruno, officially named him Bruno. Bruno soon took to drinking milk from a bottle. It was but a step further, and within a very few days he started eating and drinking everything else. And everything is the right word, for he ate porridge made from any ingredients, vegetables, fruits, nuts, meat, especially pork, curry and rice, regardless of the condiments, and chilies, breads, eggs, chocolates, sweets, pudding, ice cream, etc., etc., etc. As for drink, milk, tea, coffee, lime juice, aerated water, buttermilk, beer, alcoholic liquor, and in fact anything liquid, it all went down with relish. So now comes the eating habit of Bruno, what Bruno used to eat. So here the narrator is telling that as long as it was a baby, it was just a small baby, it used to drink milk from a bottle, normally, as every baby will do. it would be drinking milk from a bottle. But very soon he started eating and drinking almost everything, and by everything the poet is literally trying to mean everything. Everything means really everything, even whether it is a food or not a food, he will be eating that. So there will be more funny story coming ahead. So for example, like he is giving a list what are the things like Bruno will be eating, so you can get the things of the foods, list of the food that Bruno will be eating. So porridge is a kind of, khichdi, okay, a kind of khichdi. So he will eat porridge made up of anything, any ingredients doesn't matter, he just wants to eat. If it is a food, definitely he will go for it, whether it is a vegetable, whether it is a non-vegetable, whatever it is, he will be eating. Okay, so he was a very good baby. And regarding drinking, well, any kind of liquidy thing, whether that is really a liquid food or some other kind of liquid, it will be drinking. Okay, and everything he will eat or drink with a extreme pleasure, with a relish, like he enjoyed eating and drinking. So he is a big feeder. Okay, he loves to eat. The bear became very attached to dogs and to all the children of the tenants living in our bungalow. He was left quite free in his younger days and spent his time in playing, running into the kitchen and going to sleep in our beds. So I hope you can remember another story related to this bear that you have read in your previous class, previous class. It was also a story of a bear. So again, see here also the same kind of thing is happening. The bear is making friendship. He is becoming friendly with the Alsatian dogs that they were having. And not only that, he will be like playing with the children of the tenants. Okay, so the bear was very friendly. He was left quite free in his younger days, means when the bear was young, when it was like a baby, small one. So he will be left open, he will be left without any kind of chains or without any kind of restriction, so that it will be going here and there freely without any problem. He was left quite free in his younger days and spent his time in playing, running into the kitchen and going to sleep in our beds. So he was free to go to the kitchen, he was free to sleep in their beds. Okay, so it was all fine. One day an accident befell him. So one day one incident happened. I put down poison barium carbonate to kill the rats and mice that were in the library. Bruno entered the library as he often did, and he ate some of the poison. So the narrator, he had put some barium carbonate, a kind of rat killing poison, because his library was filled with rats and mice. So he wanted to kill those animals. So Bruno, as usual, he will be roaming here and there, and one time he entered the library just casually. He saw that, okay, something is there, I can eat it. So obviously, because he eats almost everything, so he thought barium carbonate is also kind of food for him. So he ate some part of that barium carbonate. Paralysis set in to the extent that he could not stand on his feet. But he dragged himself on his stumps to my wife, who called me. I guessed what had happened. Off I rushed in the car to the vet's residence. A case of poisoning, tame beer, barium carbonate, what to do? So, as an effect of eating that barium carbonate, so his entire body was slowly getting paralyzed, so he was not able to move, he was not able to stand on his own feet. So he like dragged his body and came in front of the wife, means wife of the narrator. So the wife got panicked that something happened to the bear. She started shouting, she started calling the narrator, and the narrator immediately understood that exactly what happened. This big feeder, he has eaten the barium carbonate. So that is a case of poisoning. Immediately he took out his car, he took the bear to the veterinary doctor, and In front of the doctor's house, he started calling out for the doctor and shouted that a case of poisoning, it's a case of poisoning, come soon, means hurry up. Tame beer, it's like pet beer. Okay, there is no danger. Okay, you can do the treatment. And what is the poisoning thing? So he mentioned in short, barium carbonate, means he has eaten barium carbonate. What to do? Out came his medical books and a feverish reference to index began. What poison did you say, sir? Barium carbonate. Ah, yes. Barium salts, barium carbonate. Symptoms, paralysis, treatment, injection of. Just a minute, sir. I will bring my syringe and the medicine. So the doctor started pulling out the books, okay, all his medical books, and he started finding this solution, and he started finding the case of barium carbonate. What will happen if the barium carbonate is consumed by any kind of animal? So obviously the same symptoms, paralysis. So immediately he goes for the treatment. What treatment? So there is a injection, so he need to put one injection. A dash back to the car. Bruno, still floundering about on his thumbs, but clearly weakening rapidly, some vomiting, heavy breathing with heavy flanks and gaping mouth. So along with getting paralyzed, Bruno was showing some more symptoms. So now he was not able to move, he was having a lot of struggle to move, so he was floundering about his thumbs, but clearly weakening rapidly. So though he was trying to make the movement, but it was very clear that he was not able to make the movement, and he was very, very weak. His body was becoming weak. And then he was vomiting, so he was trying to throw out something. Then the breathing increased. He was heavily breathing, means heavy flanks. So he was like, like opening the mouth and taking like long breath, as if like he's going to go away. Okay, something like that. Gaping mouth. Mouth is always open, wide open. Hold him, everybody. In goes the hypodermic. Bruno squeals. 10 cc of the antidote enters his system without a drop being wasted. So the first injection was injected in Bruno. So it was 10 cc injection. Okay, the amount of the injection was 10 cc. It was the antidote. 10 minutes later, so they were observing. So after 10 minutes, condition unchanged. Change in the condition of Bruno. So therefore they decided to put another 10 cc of that same antidote. So another 10 cc injected. 10 minutes later, breathing less stertorous. So after 10 minutes observation, now they are able to find that the breathing is coming back to the normal level. Okay. Bruno can move his arms and legs a little, although little movement is happening in Bruno. He cannot stand yet, but he was still laying down. He was not able to stand. 30 minutes later, Bruno gets up and had a great feat. So just after that, after like 10 plus 30 means how many minutes? Like after 40 minutes, like after the second injection, after 40 minutes, Bruno is able to get up, and he is completely okay. He is fine, and he is hungry, and he started eating. Okay, he started fulfilling, means exactly nothing happened. Okay, it was just a barium carbonate. I took my injection. I'm fit now. I'm completely okay. So it is like he looks at us disdainfully, as much to say, what's barium carbonate to a big black bear like me? Bruno is still eating. So he just gave a look to the narrator as well as the doctor that, what do you think I am? I'm a big black bear, and barium carbonate to me it's nothing. I am a feeder. I will be eating. So his look was like that, with an attitude of like that. Okay. So here I will end the class today, because the time is up. So like we'll complete it next day. It's a small, not that much big. Okay. So who else are present? Arpan. Finally Arpan is present, and okay.